I stood in the back of the conference room, watching my brother Jake present my invention to the CEO. The Smart Home Hub, a device I'd spent 2 years creating in my garage, was displayed on the massive screen. Jake's voice filled the room with confidence as he explained features I designed, code I'd written, problems I'd solved at 3 in the morning. This will revolutionize home automation, Jake said, gesturing dramatically. CEO Helen Morrison leaned forward, impressed. Jake, this is incredible work. How long did this take you? About 18 months. Jake lied smoothly. It was challenging, but I'm proud of the results. My hands clenched into fists. 18 months? I'd shown Jake my prototype 6 months ago, trusted him to review the design. He worked in product development at TechVision Industries. I thought he'd help me pitch it properly. Instead, he'd stolen it completely, erased my name from every document, presented it as his own creation. Nobody in that room knew I existed. Helen stood up, shaking Jake's hand. We're moving forward with production immediately. Congratulations, Jake. This promotion is well-deserved. I walked out before anyone saw the tears in my eyes. My apartment was small, barely affordable on my freelance income. I fixed computers for elderly neighbors, built websites for local businesses, earned maybe $800 a month. Nothing like Jake's 6-figure salary at TechVision. I sat at my kitchen table that night, staring at my laptop. The prototype for Smart Home Hub version 2.0 was already half-finished on my hard drive. Better features, smoother interface, more intuitive design. But what was the point? Jake would probably steal this one too. My phone buzzed. A text from Jake. Dinner this weekend? Want to celebrate my promotion. I threw the phone across the room. Celebrate? He wanted me to celebrate him stealing my life's work? The next morning, I made a decision. I couldn't fight Jake directly. He had power, connections, money, but I could build something he couldn't steal. Something so advanced, so revolutionary, that everyone would know it came from me. I opened a new project file on my laptop. Project name, HomeSphere. This would be my masterpiece. And this time, I wouldn't tell Jake anything. 3 weeks into developing HomeSphere, my bank account hit $47. Rent was due in 5 days. I was considering selling my laptop when I received an email from an unknown sender. Dear inventor, I've been watching your work. You have exceptional talent. Please accept this $5,000 grant to continue your research. Use it wisely. Your time will come. A friend. I stared at the screen for 10 minutes, convinced it was a scam. But when I checked my bank account, $5,000 had been deposited that morning. My hands shook as I replied to the email. Who are you? Why are you helping me? The response came an hour later. Who I am doesn't matter. What matters is what you create. Keep building. Keep believing. The world needs what you can do. I cried right there at my kitchen table. Someone believed in me. Someone saw my worth when my own brother had tried to erase me. That $5,000 became my lifeline. I bought better equipment, proper testing tools, materials I needed. HomeSphere started taking real shape. At night, I'd work until my eyes burned, fueled by coffee and determination. My mysterious benefactor had given me more than money. They'd given me hope. The first HomeSphere prototype failed spectacularly. Smoke filled my apartment at 2 a.m., setting off every fire alarm in the building. My landlord threatened eviction. I apologized to angry neighbors in my pajamas, promising it wouldn't happen again. But it did happen again. Version 2.0 overheated and melted through my workbench. Version 3.0 worked perfectly for 6 days, then crashed and wouldn't restart. I wanted to quit. I wanted to accept that maybe Jake was smarter. Maybe I wasn't cut out for this. Then I'd remember his face in that conference room, stealing my dreams without a second thought. I hired my first employee using the grant money. Casey was a college dropout who knew more about circuit boards than anyone I'd met. She worked for minimum wage because she believed in the project. This is going to change everything, Casey said, examining my latest design. You're building something nobody else has even imagined. We worked together in my cramped apartment, testing, failing, improving. Casey brought optimism I desperately needed. She never doubted we'd succeed. On our seventh attempt, HomeSphere powered up smoothly. Every feature worked. The interface responded perfectly. Casey and I hugged, both crying. We'd done it. Word spread slowly at first. I sold 10 HomeSphere units to friends and family. Then 50 to people who'd heard about it online. Then 200. Small tech blogs started reviewing it. Revolutionary home automation system surpasses industry leaders. Unknown inventor creates the future of smart homes. My bank account, empty for so long, started growing. $10,000, then $30,000, then $75,000. Casey and I moved operations from my apartment to a small warehouse space. We hired 3 more people, all of them young, passionate, willing to work hard for something meaningful. Meanwhile, Jake's Smart Home Hub launched to moderate success. It was good, solid, but nothing special. TechVision made money, but they weren't changing the industry. I never told Jake about HomeSphere. Let him think I'd given up, moved on, accepted my role as a forgotten brother. Then one morning, I received a call from an investor. Mr. Chen, my name is Robert Martinez. I represent Quantum Ventures. We'd like to discuss your company. My company. Those words made me smile. I'm listening. I said, we want to invest $500,000 in HomeSphere Technologies. Your product is exactly what the market needs. I accepted the offer that afternoon. The anonymous messages continued. Expand your team carefully. Character matters more than credentials. Focus on user experience, not flashy features. Build relationships with manufacturers in Taiwan. I've sent you contact information. Every piece of guidance proved valuable. The Taiwan manufacturers gave me better prices than anyone else could get. The team members I hired based on character became my most loyal employees. Someone was guiding my success from the shadows. Someone who understood the tech industry perfectly. I tried tracking the emails. They came from different locations worldwide. London one day, Singapore the next, Toronto the day after. Whoever this benefactor was, they were either traveling constantly or using sophisticated routing technology. Casey noticed me staring at another mysterious message one afternoon. Still try to figure out who's helping us? She asked. Aren't you curious? I replied, sure, but does it matter? They're helping us succeed. Maybe we should just be grateful. She was right, but the mystery gnawed at me. Who cared this much about my success? And why? That night, another message arrived. Your brother's company is struggling. The Smart Home Hub has quality issues. Don't celebrate his failure. Use this time to build something better. I stared at those words for hours. How did my benefactor know about Jake? 6 months into running HomeSphere Technologies, doubt crept in. We had 2,000 customers, but competition was fierce. Bigger companies with massive marketing budgets were copying our features. Our growth slowed. Revenue plateaued. I called a team meeting in our small warehouse office. Casey, Miguel, Sarah, Tom, and Jenny sat around a folding table we'd bought at a garage sale. We're not growing fast enough. I admitted bigger companies are catching up. Maybe we should sell the company while we can still get a good price. Casey stood up. Absolutely not. We're building something that matters. We help families, not just wealthy tech enthusiasts. Don't give up now. She's right, Miguel added. My mom uses our product. She's 67 and never understood technology before. You change her life. Their faith humbled me, but faith didn't pay salaries or cover warehouse rent. That week, our biggest manufacturing partner dropped us for a larger client. Then our lead engineer quit for a job at TechVision, Jake's company. I sat alone in the warehouse one night, wondering if I'd made a terrible mistake. My phone buzzed. Jake calling. I almost didn't answer. Hey, little brother. Jake's voice sounded strained. How's life? Fine, I said shortly. Listen, I heard you started some tech thing. That's cute. Cute. My life's work was cute. Yeah, it's going well. That's good, because things are tough at TechVision right now. The Smart Home Hub has some issues. I said nothing. Anyway, just wanted to check in. We should grab dinner sometime. After he hung up, I smiled for the first time in weeks. Jake was worried. The turnaround came from an unexpected source. A journalist named Diana Park contacted me about writing a feature story on HomeSphere. "I've been testing your product for 3 months," Diana explained over coffee. "It's better than anything on the market. I want to tell your story." "Why?" I asked suspiciously. Diana smiled. "Because good work deserves recognition. And because someone I trust recommended, I look into your company." The mysterious benefactor. It had to be. Diana's article appeared in Tech Today magazine the following month. The inventor who's disrupting smart home technology. She told the whole story. How I'd started in my apartment, nearly set the building on fire, refused to quit despite endless failures. The article went viral. Within 48 hours, my email inbox had 500 messages. Customer orders tripled, then quintupled. Investors called constantly. We couldn't keep up with demand. Casey hired 10 more people. We moved to a bigger warehouse. Revenue jumped from $100,000 a month to $400,000. I worked 18-hour days, but I'd never been happier. Jake texted me after the article published. "Saw your magazine feature. Impressive." That was all. No apology. No acknowledgement of what he'd stolen. Just one word. Impressive. I didn't respond. The mysterious benefactor sent a new message. This is just the beginning. Stay humble. Stay focused. Your real test is coming. The real test arrived 3 months later. Megatech Industries, a billion-dollar company, launched their own smart home system. Superior marketing, celebrity endorsements, massive distribution. They were everywhere. Within weeks, our sales dropped 40%. Customers canceled orders, choosing Megatech instead. I called an emergency meeting. "We can't compete with their marketing budget," Sarah said grimly. "They're spending millions. We have maybe $50,000 for advertising. Then we compete on innovation." I insisted. "We build features they can't copy. We stay ahead." But staying ahead meant working even harder. I practically lived at the warehouse. Casey brought me food because I forgot to eat. Miguel covered my eyes and made me sleep when I'd been coding for 20 hours straight. My team kept me alive. One morning, an envelope arrived at the warehouse. Inside was a single sheet of paper with an address and time. "Come alone. Bring nothing. You're ready for the next level." The return address? A luxury hotel downtown. The signature? Just a single letter. M. My mysterious benefactor wanted to meet. Finally, I'd learned who'd been guiding me this whole time. But I was also terrified. What if this was a trap? What if it was Jake trying to destroy me? The hotel was the kind of place I couldn't normally afford. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, doormen in suits. I fell out of place in my jeans and hoodie. I gave the concierge the room number from the envelope. She smiled knowingly and directed me to the penthouse elevator. My heart pounded as I rode up. The elevator opened into a private suite. A woman in her 60s stood by the window, looking out at the city. She turned as I entered. "Hello, Daniel. I'm Margaret Zhao. Welcome." I recognized her immediately. Margaret Zhao, founder of Quantum Industries, one of the most successful tech companies in history. She retired 5 years ago after selling her company for $3 billion. "You're my benefactor?" I managed to say. Margaret smiled. "I've been watching you since you created the first smart home hub, the one your brother stole." My legs went weak. "How did you know about that?" "Because I was Helen Morrison's mentor. She called me before greenlighting Jake's project. I reviewed the documentation and immediately saw the theft. Your brother was sloppy. He left digital fingerprints everywhere." I sat down heavily. "Why didn't you tell anyone?" "Because I wanted to see what you'd do. Would you give up? Seek revenge? Or build something better?" Margaret poured 2 glasses of water. "You chose the third option. You built something revolutionary. You stayed kind to your team. You never badmouthed your brother publicly. That's the mark of real character." Margaret explained everything. She'd been anonymously funding my work, opening doors, connecting me with the right people. I made my fortune, Daniel. Now I use it to help people who deserve it. People like you who got knocked down but refused to stay down. Why me specifically? I asked. Margaret sat across from me. Because 30 years ago, my business partner stole my first invention, took credit for everything I created. I almost gave up, but someone helped me, gave me a second chance. I'm paying that forward. Tears filled my eyes. What do you want from me? I want you to accept my investment. $5 million for 10% of HomeSphere Technologies. And I want you to keep being you. Kind, innovative, focus on helping people. $5 million. That would change everything. We could compete with Megatech. We could expand globally. We could win. I thought about Casey, Miguel, Sarah, Tom, Jenny, all the people who believed in me. I accept, I said, but I have one condition. Margaret raised an eyebrow. You teach me everything you know. I don't just want money. I want wisdom. She smiled broadly. Now I know I chose the right person. We shook hands. As I left the hotel, I felt 10 feet tall. My guardian angel had revealed herself, and my real journey was just beginning. The $5 million transformed HomeSphere Technologies. We hired 30 new employees, opened offices in 3 cities, launched an aggressive marketing campaign. Within 6 months, we'd recaptured market share from Megatech. Within a year, we'd surpassed them. Jake's company, TechVision, was struggling badly. The Smart Home Hub had been recalled twice for safety issues. Consumer Reports rated it not recommended. Jake was demoted from vice president to senior developer. I learned all this through industry news, not from Jake himself. He stopped texting me entirely. Then one afternoon, I received an email from TechVision's PR department. Mr. Chun, CEO Helen Morrison would like to meet with you to discuss a potential partnership. I called Margaret immediately. Jake's company wants to partner with us. What I do? What does your gut tell you? Margaret asked. That this is Jake's attempt to save himself by associating with my success. Then you know your answer. But, Daniel, remember something. The goal isn't revenge. It's building something that lasts. I declined the meeting. HomeSphere didn't need TechVision. We were doing fine on our own. But Jake needed us. And that shift in power felt both satisfying and sad. My brother had gambled everything on stolen ideas and lost. Meanwhile, I'd built something real. Year 2 brought unexpected challenges. A key supplier went bankrupt. Our head of operations was diagnosed with cancer. A warehouse fire destroyed $200,000 worth of inventory. I felt like the universe was testing how badly I wanted this. Casey found me one night in the burnt warehouse, staring at melted electronics. We can rebuild, she said quietly. Can we? I asked. This feels like a sign to quit. A sign to quit? Daniel, we're not quitters. We survived your apartment burning. We'll survive this too. She was right. We filed insurance claims, found new suppliers, promoted someone to cover operations. Margaret visited during this difficult time. We walked through the damaged warehouse together. Every successful company faces moments like this, she said. The ones who survive don't have the most money or the best luck. They have the most determination. I'm tired, I admitted. That's allowed. But don't confuse tired with defeated. Her words kept me going through the worst months. We worked 14-hour days rebuilding. The team never complained. They believed in what we were creating. Then, just when everything felt darkest, a miracle happened. A major retailer contacted us about carrying HomeSphere products in 500 stores nationwide. This could generate $10 million annually. Casey calculated excitedly. I signed the contract the next day. The mysterious setbacks had slowed us down, but not stopped us. We were still rising. The breakthrough came during a tech conference in San Francisco. Margaret introduced me to her network of industry leaders. These were people who'd built empires, changed the world. They treated me like an equal. During a panel discussion, someone in the audience asked Margaret about her investment philosophy. I invest in people, not just products, Margaret answered. Take Daniel Chun, for example. His brother stole his invention 3 years ago. Most people would have become bitter. Daniel built something better instead. The room went silent. Margaret looked directly at me. That's the kind of character that changes industries. After the panel, a dozen investors approached me. By evening's end, I had offers totaling $20 million in additional funding. HomeSphere Technologies was valued at $75 million. I called my mom that night. She'd been my biggest supporter through everything. Mom, we did it. The company's worth $75 million. She cried. I always knew you were special, Daniel. I'm so proud of you. Has Jake called you recently? I asked. She hesitated. He's struggling, honey. He lost his job at TechVision last month. He's asking if you might have work for him. I sat in shocked silence. Jake wanted to work for me? What did you tell him? I said I'd ask you. I know he hurt you, but he's still your brother. I promised to think about it and hung up. Jake had stolen my invention, nearly destroyed my dreams, never apologized. And now he wanted my charity? But Margaret's words echoed in my mind. The goal is a revenge. It's building something that lasts. HomeSphere Technologies reached a major milestone. We hit $50 million in annual revenue. We employed 150 people across 5 cities. Our products were in 100,000 homes. Industry magazines called me the new face of smart home technology. We'd surpassed TechVision in every meaningful metric. Jake's old company was barely surviving, while mine was thriving. I should have felt triumphant. Instead, I felt empty. Jake sent me an email. Little brother, I know I don't deserve to ask, but I need help. I made terrible mistakes. I took credit for your work. I was jealous and scared. I'm sorry. If you're hiring, I'd be honored to work for you in any capacity. I showed the email to Margaret over dinner. What should I do? What do you want to do? She countered. Part of me wants to ignore him. Let him suffer like he let me suffer. But another part remembers we used to be close, before success and jealousy ruined everything. Margaret nodded. Success reveals character. Your brother showed his when he stole from you. Now you'll show yours in how you respond. I thought about Casey, Miguel, Sarah, and everyone who believed in me. I thought about Margaret, who gave me a second chance. I thought about my mom, who loved both her sons despite everything. I'll meet with him. I decided, but on my terms. Jake arrived at my office looking defeated. His expensive suit was gone, replaced by jeans and a wrinkled shirt. He'd lost weight. Dark circles shadowed his eyes. Thanks for seeing me, Jake said quietly. We sat in my conference room, a long table between us. Jake, before we talk about anything else, I need to hear the truth. Why did you steal my invention? He looked down at his hands. Because I was jealous. You were always smarter, more creative. Mom was always so proud of you. I worked at TechVision for 5 years, and nobody noticed me. Then you showed me the Smart Home Hub, and I saw my chance to finally be somebody. So you erased my name and took credit. Yes, and it worked at first. I got promoted, got recognition, but I couldn't sustain it. I'm not you, Daniel. I can't innovate. I can only copy. The honesty was shocking. When did you realize you made a mistake? Jake's voice cracked. When the Smart Home Hub started failing, and I couldn't fix it. When the company needed the next big idea, and I had nothing. When I saw your magazine article and realized you built an empire while I'd built nothing. I sat back, processing this. You destroyed my trust, Jake. You hurt me deeply. I know. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I'm sorry. I let Jake's apology sit between us for a long moment. Then I pulled out a folder. These are screenshots of the original Smart Home Hub files. Your name replacing mine on every document. Timestamps showing when you made the changes. Evidence that you committed theft. Jake went pale. I could have exposed you 3 years ago. I continued. Could have destroyed your career. Maybe even pressed charges. Do you know why I didn't? He shook his head. Because revenge wouldn't have built my company. It wouldn't have helped my team. It wouldn't have made me a better person. I pushed the folder across the table. Take this. Keep as a reminder of who you were And who you don't want to be again? Jake stared at the folder like it was a bomb. What are you saying? I'm saying that holding on to anger hasn't served me. But I'm also not ready to just forgive and forget. You need to earn back trust. How do I do that? Jake asked desperately. By being honest. By working hard. By proving through actions, not words, that you've changed. I pulled out a second folder. This is a job offer. Entry-level position in our customer service department. Minimum wage to start. No special treatment because you're my brother. Jake opened the folder with shaking hands. You're giving me a job? I'm giving you a chance. What you do with it is up to you. Jake started work the following Monday. I watched him through the office window, answering customer calls, helping people troubleshoot their home sphere systems. He was patient, kind, genuinely helpful. Casey approached me one afternoon. Your brother's actually good at customer service. He has this way of making people feel heard. I nodded, surprised. He's getting excellent feedback. Multiple customers have specifically praised him. Over the following months, Jake showed up early, stayed late, never complained. He ate lunch with entry-level employees, not executives. He volunteered for the worst shifts. Slowly, he was earning respect. But the real test came 6 months later. A customer was furious about a product defect, threatening to sue. Jake spent 3 hours on the phone with her, finally resolving the issue. I'm sorry we let you down. I heard Jake say, at HomeSphere, we take responsibility for our mistakes. Let me make this right. He arranged a full refund, a free replacement, and a personal apology from our team. The customer's angry review turned into a glowing testimonial. That evening, Jake knocked on my office door. Can I talk to you? We sat down, and Jake looked at me seriously. I've learned something working here. Success isn't about taking credit. It's about solving problems and helping people. You built this company on that principle. And I asked, and I finally understand why you succeeded while I failed. HomeSphere Technologies reached $100 million valuation in year 3. We become one of the fastest growing tech companies in the country. I promoted Casey to Chief Operations Officer. Miguel became head of engineering. Sarah led our design team. The people who believed in me from the beginning now led departments. Jake had worked his way up to customer relations manager, not through family connections, but through genuine hard work. He transformed our customer service department, creating training programs that became industry models. One evening, Jake and I stayed late working on a major client proposal. Daniel, can I ask you something? Jake said, Sure. Why did you really give me a second chance? After everything I did? I thought carefully before answering. Because someone gave me a second chance. Margaret saw potential in me when I had nothing. She taught me that successful people lift others up, not tear them down. Even people who hurt them? Especially people who hurt them. That's when forgiveness means something. Jake's eyes filled with tears. I don't deserve your kindness. Probably not. But deserving isn't the point. Growing is the point. Becoming better is the point. You're not the person who stole my invention anymore. That matters. We worked in comfortable silence after that. 2 brothers who've been enemies, now colleagues. Maybe someday friends again. The moment I've been building toward arrived unexpectedly. TechVision Industries, Jake's old company, faced bankruptcy. CEO Helen Morrison called me directly. Mr. Chun, I'm going to be blunt. TechVision is failing. We need help. I'd like to discuss a merger. I met with Helen and her board the following week. The same conference room where Jake had stolen my invention 3 years earlier. Poetic. What exactly are you proposing? I asked. Helen spread financial documents across the table. HomeSphere acquires TechVision. You get our patents, our distribution network, our remaining customer base. We get survival. What do I need you for? You're failing. Because, Helen said carefully, we still have valuable assets. And because consolidation benefits everyone. I reviewed their offer. It was generous to them, considering their desperate position. I'll consider it, I said, but I need to consult with my team first. As I stood to leave, Helen stopped me. Daniel, I owe you an apology. 3 years ago, your brother presented the Smart Home Hub as his invention. I approved it without proper verification. That was my failure as a leader. Her honesty surprised me. Why are you telling me this now? Because I learned an expensive lesson. Talent matters more than connections. Integrity matters more than ambition. You had both. Jake had neither. I called a company-wide meeting to discuss the TechVision acquisition. 150 employees gathered in our main warehouse, now converted into a proper facility with offices and meeting spaces. TechVision Industries has offered us an acquisition deal. I explained. This would make us one of the largest smart home technology companies in the country. But it's not just a business decision. It's a moral one. I told them the whole story. How Jake had stolen my invention. How TechVision had profited from theft. How that betrayal had ultimately led to building HomeSphere. Now, they're asking us to save them. I said, the question is, should we? Casey stood up. I think we should do it. Not for them. For us. We built something good here. Something that helps people. Acquiring TechVision means helping more people. Miguel agreed. Plus, we'd be acquiring on our terms. We set the culture. We decide the direction. Others voice concerns. They don't deserve our help. Why reward failure? The discussion lasted 2 hours. Finally, I made a decision. We'll acquire TechVision, but we do it right. No mass layoffs. We retrain their employees in our methods. We rebuild their culture around integrity and innovation. We show them there's a better way. The vote passed overwhelmingly. HomeSphere Technologies would acquire TechVision Industries. 3 years after being betrayed, I'd be taking over the company that had stolen from me. The acquisition closed 3 months later. HomeSphere Technologies was now valued at $250 million. We employed 400 people. We served 500,000 customers globally. Helen Morrison resigned as CEO of TechVision, taking a generous retirement package. Her board asked me to come speak to the remaining employees. I stood in the same conference room where this all began. Dozens of TechVision employees looked at me with fear and uncertainty. 3 years ago, I was erased from this building. My invention was stolen, my name removed from documents, my work claimed by someone else. I have every reason to hate this company. The room was silent, but I don't, because that betrayal taught me something valuable. It taught me that real success isn't about taking credit. It's about creating value. It's about helping people. It's about building something that matters. I paused, looking around at their faces. HomeSphere is acquiring TechVision, but we're not here to punish anyone. We're here to build something better together. If you're willing to work hard, embrace integrity, and focus on serving customers, you have a future here. A young developer raised her hand. What about the people who participated in the theft? Will they be fired? No. Mistakes are opportunities to learn. If someone acknowledges what they did wrong and commits to doing better, they deserve a second chance. Jake, sitting in the back, met my eyes. I nodded at him. My own brother stole from me. He worked his way from customer service to management by proving he'd changed. That's the culture we're building here. 6 months after the acquisition, everything had transformed. HomeSphere TechVision, we merged the names, was thriving. Revenue hit $150 million annually. Our products were industry-leading. Customer satisfaction scores were the highest in the sector. Margaret came to visit our new headquarters, a beautiful office building we purchased downtown. You've built something remarkable, Daniel, she said, touring the facility. This isn't just a successful company. It's a movement. I couldn't have done it without you, I replied. You gave me that first $5,000 when I had nothing. Margaret smiled. I gave you money. You gave yourself determination, integrity, and vision. Those things can't be bought. We stopped in front of a wall where I displayed quotes from team members about what HomeSphere meant to them. This is a place where second chances matter. Nobody judges you for your past, only your present. I came here broken and left here whole. Margaret wiped away tears. This is why I invested in you. You understand that business isn't just about profit. It's about people. That evening, I gathered my leadership team. Casey, Miguel, Sarah, Tom, Jenny, and yes, Jake. I want to thank all of you, I said. 3 years ago, I was nobody. You believed in me when no one else did. You worked for minimum wage when I could barely pay rent. You built this with me. We knew you were special, Casey said. We just had to wait for the world to figure it out. 2 major announcements happened in year 4. First, HomeSphere Tech Vision went public. Our IPO valued the company at $800 million. My personal stake was worth $200 million. Casey, Miguel, and my early employees became millionaires. Even Jake, who'd worked his way up from customer service, received stock options worth $500,000. I don't deserve this, Jake said when I gave him his options paperwork. You earned it, I replied, through hard work and changed behavior. That's exactly what you deserve. The second announcement was personal. I established a Second Chance Foundation with $50 million from my IPO earnings. The foundation will help people who've been betrayed, stolen from, or knocked down in business. People like I'd been 3 years ago. Margaret agreed to serve on the board. You're doing what I did for you, she said. Paying it forward, that's how we change the world. The foundation's mission statement reflected everything I'd learned. Everyone deserves a second chance. Success isn't about never falling down. It's about getting back up with integrity, helping others rise with you, and building something that matters more than ego or revenge. At the foundation launch, journalists asked about Jake stealing my invention. That betrayal was the best thing that ever happened to me. I answered honestly. It forced me to build something real, something that reflected my values. I'm grateful for it now. Today, I stand in our headquarters looking at what we've built. HomeSphere Tech Vision employs 1,000 people, serves 2 million customers, and generates $400 million in annual revenue. But those numbers don't tell the real story. The real story is in the faces of my team. Casey, who believed in me when I was nobody. Miguel, who worked for minimum wage to support my dream. Sarah, Tom, Jenny, and dozens of others who bet on an unknown inventor in a cramped apartment. The real story is Margaret, who saw something in me and gave me a chance when I'd lost everything, who taught me that success means lifting others up. The real story is even Jake, who stole from me and then spent 3 years earning back trust through changed behavior, proving that people can grow if given the opportunity. I learned something important on this journey. Revenge is easy. Forgiveness is hard. But forgiveness builds something that lasts. 3 years ago, I could have destroyed Jake, could have exposed him, ruined his career, taken satisfaction in his failure. Instead, I built something better, something that helped thousands of people, something that changed an industry. That's the lesson I want you to remember. When someone betrays you, you have a choice. You can become bitter, or you can become better. You can seek revenge, or you can seek growth. You can tear others down, or you can build something so good that their betrayal becomes irrelevant. Choose to build. Choose to forgive. Choose to lift others up, even those who hurt you. Because at the end of the day, that's what separates good success from great success. That's what turns a company into a legacy. Subscribe if the story inspired you. Share it with someone who's been knocked down and needs hope. Remember, your betrayal might just be the beginning of your greatest success story. Keep building. Keep believing. Your time will come.